Welcome to episode 14 of Pigskin Over Pizza, the show where we talk about sports while eating and eventually reviewing this hopefully delicious pizza. The date is June 3rd. I'm your host, Casey, along with my good friend and co-host, Cal. Cal, what do we have today? What kind of pizza?
We got Massey's Pizza.
That's right. There's quite a few locations in Central Ohio. I think it's a Central Ohio only thing.
Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere
I
else.
assume, yeah. This is from the Westerville location, the Cadillac of pizza, as they say. Maybe the most ridiculous tagline ever. So that's why I use it so often. But you want to talk some baseball and get into this pizza here?
Yeah. Have you been watching baseball?
I actually have. I've been keeping track of the Reds, and that's been mainly depressing. But
Well, there is a glimmer of hope for the Reds, though,
yeah,
because they're 26-33, only 7 games below 500,
yeah,
and they're 6-4 over the last 10, and they did sweep the Dodgers.
yeah. And they won the series against the Cubs, which is right now they're not, but they're one of the best teams in the Reds division.
Yeah.
Not the best.
Are they the second? Are they second place? Yeah, because the Brewers are first.
Yeah, and then the Cardinals are technically ahead of them, but we'll see that last or not.
The Cardinals are annoying too, because they look like they were definitely going to be like selling at the trade deadline, and now they're like winning.
Yeah,
So annoying. But yeah, the Reds, they did take 2 out of 3 versus the Cubs, and I feel like they would have swept them if the rain delay didn't happen.
yeah, I agree.
Rain delays suck. So it was like a 3-hour rain delay, and they were playing at like 10 p.m. on the road. Like, that's awful. Doesn't favor you at all. They were up 5. I think they were up 5-0 though in that second game, and then the Cubs scored like 5 the next inning.
Yeah, so I know it was at least 4-0 for sure.
It was I think it was 4, not 5,
Okay.
because then it was tied 5-5, and I was like, okay, they can win, and it didn't happen. But only 3 games back from the wild card, so the wild card race is close in the NL, and then or the National League.
Yeah, and like you said, there's definitely still hope for the Reds. I mean, me and Trevor talking last week, it's kind of hard to judge the Reds right now because they're the most injured team in the league already, which obviously if that stays the case, it's gonna be hard to have consistency and to win division, let alone a playoff spot. But in theory, you start getting some of these players back and become a more consistent, healthy team.
Yeah, because they got some random players playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could look at the box score from last night, and there's probably 4 different guys. I'm like, who the heck is that?
Yeah, it's to the point now. Like I said, I haven't been able to watch much lately, so I keep track of scores and get notifications.
Yeah.
And I have to look which team took the lead because I obviously normally when I see a player's name, I immediately know who scored.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't know if that's a Red or if that's the
there's
opponent.
like, hold on, I think we got Mike Ford now too, which I always hated him. Not in real life, but on MLB The Show. He's such an annoying player. But yeah, so I mean, yesterday I recognize almost every name except I can't even pronounce this guy's name. Herberty Bees, I don't know.
Yeah, not sure.
I have no idea who he is, but he did have a hit and a run, so
There you go.
looking good. But yeah, so the Reds, they play the Rockies tonight. The Rockies are a very annoying bad team.
Yeah, if we could have played them at the beginning of the year, I would have felt a lot better, but they've been playing on and off way better than they were.
They're so annoying because they'll randomly just score like 10 runs, and I'm like, where the heck is this offense coming from? Their issue is pitching, and then some days that's good. So it's like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
So the Reds could get swept by the Rockies, and we'd be like, what the heck is happening? But I could definitely see it happening. Or it could be the opposite way, and the Reds could sweep them. So, not sure. Not sure how to feel about the Reds. Hopefully they get some people back, and they improve going forward. But they're not, like, I don't think they're a playoff team if you look around the league and look at some other teams. Or they're not a title team, definitely.
Right now, I definitely don't think so. They have all the pieces. I think they're so young; it'd be hard to say they're a team to compete for the title. But I don't think it'd be unrealistic if the players could play the way they were playing before
Yeah.
they started getting hurt. And they definitely still need help. But I mean, most teams don't just stay packed the whole season, so
Yeah.
most teams need help at some point.
Well, good news for baseball is the Orioles are good.
Not good news.
They're 37-20 and 8-2 over the last 10. And somehow the Yankees are better than that because they're 3 games behind the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
But they do hold the top wild card spot and the 5th best record in baseball, which is annoying if you're a wild card team and have one of the top 5 records. I just listed all the division leaders, just so we all know. The Yankees are 42-19 and first in the AL East. The Phillies are 41-19 and also first in the NL. I don't know what is their division. NL East.
I think the East, yeah.
NL East. That's why it confused me because Yankees are
East.
AL East.
Yeah.
Then the unfortunate news is the Guardians are 39-20.
Somehow makes
And
no sense.
their division sucks, so I'm going to point it to that because they get to play, the Tigers and the Twins and who else is in that division? Royals and somebody else.
Is that the White Sox?
White Sox.
Yeah,
That's
they're abysmal.
You get to play the White Sox all the time, then you're going to be good. So they're first, and then the Dodgers are 38-23. And then the Brewers, unfortunately, are first as well.
Yep.
And they're 36-23. And then the Mariners are 34-27. And their division also is kind of bad. So they're going to get a division title from a division that sucks and get to host playoff games. So, yeah, that's kind of the scope of the league. The Phillies are really fun to watch. Watched them last night. They did lose to the Cardinals, but it was a fun game. I like watching Bryce Harper. He's good. And then with the Yankees, I don't like the Yankees, but Soto and Judge are, killing it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Judge is now top in home runs. He's got 21 home runs. And, when he's hitting it, he's, launching it.
Oh, yeah. It's nuts.
And the start of the season, he was kind of, not doing anything, and everyone's like, oh, no, Aaron Judge. And then here he goes, just hitting bombs all the time. Gunnar Henderson is second in the home run title race, I guess. He's got 19. Kyle Tucker, who I have no idea who this guy is.
I know the name, but I don't know why I know it.
He also has 19 home runs. I didn't recognize that name. I was like, who the heck is Kyle Tucker? Then Juan Soto is fourth. He's got 17, which is crazy that the Yankees have both of them. And then a Guardian player, Jose Ramirez, has 16 home runs. He is fifth. But surprisingly, Shohei Ohtani is not. I think he's in the top 15, but he's not leading.
Yeah.
Which is what I would have thought at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Judge makes sense. Judge has done that before, but I was like, So, yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on baseball?
The only other thing I had was just the top pitchers in baseball. And that's the last thing that I have.
Yeah, go for it. I was mainly going to touch on the Reds. I feel like we already covered them anyways.
Yeah. The Phillies actually have 3 pitchers that their ERA is under 3, which is insane.
Yeah.
The top pitcher is on their team, Ranger Suarez. His ERA is 1.70, and he's pitched 74 innings, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then the second is, I didn't list the team for some reason, but I think he's on the Royals, actually, Seth Lugo.
Ooh, I don't know that one. So I'm going to trust you.
But his ERA is 1.72, and he's pitched 78 innings, so impressive.
Yeah.
Ronaldo Lopez is 1.73. He's only has 57 innings pitched, so a little bit less, but still a good ERA. Tanner Hawk, I think is how you pronounce his last name. I think he's on the Red Sox, or he used to be.
Sounds right.
I could be wrong. But his ERA is 1.85 with 78 innings pitched. And then Lewis Gill, who's on the Yankees, his ERA is 1.99, and I'm pretty sure he's a rookie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's got 63 innings pitched, so that's impressive.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a rookie. Also, just the Yankees pitchers in general have started playing ridiculously good, and they don't even have Garrett Cole playing right now. Just like the last month, all their ERAs are like under 3. So that's why they're 42 and 19.
Must be nice.
Must be nice to have good pitchers, even though the Reds pitchers, their ERAs aren't awful.
Yeah.
Like I think Andrew Abbott is pitching tonight, and his is like 3.85.
Yeah.
It's just he doesn't always get run support. That's been the big problem.
Oh, yeah.
Is like Hunter Green and all these guys are, they could pitch amazing and then scoring 1 run. So that's kind of, I feel like that's been the downfall. Or the pitchers suck that day and then they are scoring runs and then they lose 10-9 or something ridiculous. So that's just kind of how the Red season has gone. But yeah, so those are the ERA and home run leaders.
Okay. Is that all for baseball?
I think that's all I got.
All right. You don't want to talk about hockey at all, I'm assuming? Or did you?
Go Panthers.
I am with you there. Now that's every time I talked about the playoffs, I feel like we just keep getting more and more the opposite of what I want. So it's kind of just like rooting for the least evil for me now. The Panthers are playing Oilers for the Stanley Cup. The Panthers have been one of the top teams for the past few years now, so it's getting a little annoying. Their fan base also sucks. Not even like arrogance or like annoyance like a lot of fan bases, but that even in the playoffs they weren't selling out a lot of their games, which is fucking nuts. And I feel like now every Stanley Cup game is going to be sold out and filled to the brim and look like they're a amazing fan base, but it's a little annoying when you're not even filling up your playoff games. That should be a
given?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where are they located in Florida?
Why
are they just the Florida Panthers? Do they travel around to different cities in Florida?
No, I think near Miami, but I might be making that up.
I feel like you might be right because I think I remember when the Heat were in the Eastern Conference Finals, they were like, "Oh, the Panthers are too."
Yeah,
like
based in Miami.
Why don't they just call them the Miami Panthers?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
Florida's trying to get more audience. Like, this is all of your team, and get more people in to watch it. But
Florida's a massive state.
Yeah. And there's already another Florida team because Tampa Bay is there.
Oh yeah. That's just confusing then.
Yeah.
What the heck? I didn't even know the Panthers existed until like 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, until they got good within like the last half decade, they were kind of like one of the jokes of the league. So yeah, that's fair, and that's why I think their fan base is not very strong unless they're literally not just good, but the final push.
And they're playing Edmonton.
Yeah. Yep, and that's why I'm not rooting for the Panthers because I like them. I don't like the Panthers, and their starting goalie is a former Blue Jacket. So,
Traitor.
Yeah, and he won goalie of the year with the Blue Jackets. And
what's his name? I might know him.
Sergei Bobrovsky.
Oh, I do know him.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, can't really root for the Panthers, but I think it's comical how long it's been since a Canadian team has won the Stanley Cup. So now they kind of force me to root for the Panthers, but I'm kind of just rooting against the Oilers, and even then I don't really care. It's more just I think a humorous thing to see them lose. I'm not going to be like devastated if Canada wins the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, because the streak will be over.
I'm going to not watch any games from the Stanley Cup.
I won't either. I'll obviously keep track of the score and watch highlights, but I don't have plans to. I mean, if somebody's hanging out and wants to watch one, or if it comes down to like Game 7, I might see that or something. But yeah, I don't have any interest in watching it.
Yeah, I think I watched one game the entire playoffs, and I watched 5 minutes of it, and it was the Rangers and whoever they were playing.
Was it this last series, Panthers?
No, the series before that. Hurricanes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think I only watched it because you like the Hurricanes, and I was like, I'll watch it for 5 minutes, and then I was like, oh, I'm bored, and then I switched it. 2 people got hit, though, and that was exciting. But That's all the hockey I've watched. Probably the entirety of the last 2 years.
Well, you've been to a Blue Jackets game, so you watched more that night.
I think that was 2 years ago.
How was it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Here's a crazy stat for you. With the Rangers being eliminated, there's now been over 100 combined seasons between the Rangers, Islanders, Knicks, Nets, Yankees, Mets, Jets, and Giants without winning a championship, which is
That's crazy.
nuts, especially with some of those being like the biggest salary caps and markets in those respective sports. That's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's so many sports teams in New York. Every league has 2 New York teams, and
Yeah.
they can't win a title. They have double the odds. They can't win a title.
Yeah.
I have some things to say about the Jets when we get to football.
Okay. Big news for, more importantly, the silly playoff Stanley Cup shit. Nobody cares about that in hockey. The bigger news in hockey is the Blue Jackets hired a new president and GM. He's serving both roles. Don Medell.
Did they fire the last guy?
They fired the GM at the end of last season, or this season, and then the president they've still had on the team, but he stepped back to an advisor role, so he's still with the team. But this guy took his role and then the old GM's role. And then there's rumors he might hire a GM, but I don't know if it's going to happen because this guy comes from the Hurricanes, and the Hurricanes over the last 10 seasons have the second most points in the NHL, for the standings. So it's kind of crazy that he left for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
And, awesome, but surprising.
They're good for Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Odd.
It's a lot of people thinking that it's a given they're going to hire a GM, and he is older, so it would make sense, but at the same time, it would be kind of surprising because he took over the Hurricanes as president after the 2008 season. That's what I get for cutting off articles. I always make a mistake somewhere. I got to do it. So let me get this here. He became good thing I did. I wasn't close. He became team president from 2014 to 2018, and then starting 2018, he also became the general manager role at the Hurricanes. He took over both. The 10 seasons that he was the president, he was the president, and then what would that be? 6 years he was GM. They made the playoffs all 6 years, 2 times going to the finals, and winning division 3 times. So it seems like they became even more successful once he transitioned to being the GM as well. So I don't know if he will hire a GM because he seems to do both very well.
Do both, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, normally you do that because that's a ton of workload, but when they greatly improved once he took over both roles, I feel like that might be a sign that he is capable of that when a lot of people aren't.
Yeah.
What makes it run even crazier, the Hurricanes have the second most points, is before he got there, they missed the playoffs 11 of the previous 12 years. So it wasn't like he took over a top-tier team, and also not like a New York-type team. The Hurricanes are considered a smaller market as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that that gives a lot of hope to the Blue Jackets, also a small market team with, by the time he took over the Hurricanes, definitely a lot more pieces in place, even though they're young with the Blue Jackets. The Hurricanes have a few really good players and a lot of okay players.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say the Blue Jackets are in a better position. I think the next biggest thing will be, like I said, GM, and then what he's going to do with the coach. Like I said, I hope they keep the current coach, Pascal Vincent.
Yep.
But if they're not going to keep him, this will be the time that's going to happen because this isn't the person that hired Pascal Vincent. So if you're going to do it,
it's going to be now.
Yeah. I mean, unless he coaches another season or two and then doesn't do well. But if you're going to replace him just based off of last season, now would be the time.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't, but it'd make more sense now than before. And then the only other hockey news I have, the Blue Jackets minor league team, the Monsters, are playing in the not the championship game, the conference championship game. So they're playing against the team that won the complete championship last year. They call it the Calder Cup, so the Stanley Cup equivalent.
Yeah.
So they're down 0-2, unfortunately. It's a 5-game series now, but both of them have been real sad 'cause they lost 5-4 in overtime the first one, and then 3-2 overtime the second one. In the second game, they even scored. They had the net empty and scored with a minute and a half left.
Oh man.
To take it to overtime, which that kind of momentum usually like gives you a win alone.
Yeah.
But they couldn't finish it off, so now they're down 0-2. The next 3 games are in Cleveland, which I think will be a huge boost. The next game being tomorrow, Tuesday. So,
and I feel like with hockey, it's easier to come back from, because like an NBA 3-0 is like a death sentence, but I feel like in hockey I've seen 3-0 go to 7 multiple times.
Yeah, it's not like it's common or you're the more likely one, but definitely not unheard of. And like I said, when the next 3 games are all at home, that
helps a lot.
Yeah.
Because NBA, I think the record is like the team that goes down 0-3. It's like 0-150. It's probably 0-155 now because the Timberwolves. You don't come back if you're down 0-3. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. I think that's all I have for hockey, though. Like I said, the biggest news is obviously Stanley Cup and being stupid. And sadly, I care about that very little now.
I do like the Monsters logo.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm a fan. It's a cool logo.
I think it was much cooler before they rebranded the Cleveland Monsters. Not even making jokes. I hate Cleveland, but they were called the Lake Erie Monsters, which I think flows better and I think makes a lot more sense since it's like a myth of the monster in Lake Erie. Yeah, not just a monster of Cleveland. But
I mean, there are some monsters in Cleveland.
That's true, but the mascot wouldn't look very cool anymore. It'd probably have like needles being thrown at you and a face falling apart. But it probably made, even though I don't like it, I'm sure it made sense because obviously almost everybody in the country knows what Cleveland is, and a lot of people are what the hell is Lake Erie? Unless you're in this region, a lot of people aren't going to know what that is.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it probably made sense.
Sadly.
Next, we can talk about football if you want to lead the way. I don't have too much, but
I don't have a lot. The schedule did come out since the last time me and you recorded.
Yeah, Trevor talked a little bit about it, but I was going to tell you. Feel free to. Yeah, sorry.
His new code name. Yeah, so the schedule was released. The season starts with Ravens at Chiefs. I'm not excited. I'll watch it, but I hate both of those teams just about equally. Yeah. Maybe Ravens a little more. Actually, no, I hate the Chiefs just as much because there's like a weird rivalry between the Bengals and Chiefs, and I hate Patrick Mahomes.
I was going to say, I don't like the Ravens, but obviously I feel like a lot of people already don't like the Chiefs because how successful they've been, but then I have the double whammy of them being in my division and Broncos rival, and then the triple whammy of Taylor Swift dating one of their best players. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't like the Ravens, but that's a easy route for me who I want to win that one.
Yeah, I want both of them to lose. Hopefully they tie. Hopefully that's what happens. So they open the season. I think the Super Bowl winner always opens the season on that Thursday night. It's been like that for a while. Mm-hmm. There's a weird Friday night game the next day. Packers at Eagles on a Friday night.
Interesting.
I thought it was interesting too because usually I feel like college football puts games that Friday night. Mm-hmm. So I was like, what the heck is happening right now? So yeah, we get to see the Packers and Eagles. I don't feel like that's worthy of prime time personally, but I guess the Packers are going to be better because they were decent last year, and the Eagles I feel like kind of fell off.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think so personally, but like objectively, I feel like it makes sense. Both those teams are projected to be some of the better teams and rivals. So, yeah.
Rodgers gets a Monday night repeat from last year, so we'll see if that Achilles holds up.
So hoping not the same result.
The Jets are have equal odds to win their division as Buffalo right now. It's plus 115 for both of them. I don't understand. It's really confusing to me because even if Rodgers played last year, the Jets were going to suck. He had no one to throw to, and their offensive line sucked, and their coach isn't that good. And he's an old quarterback. So I don't understand the hype around the Jets. I didn't last year either. I was like, why is everyone hyping up the Jets?
I kind of fall in the middle on that one. Well, for one, I'm trying to talk to Jets, but I don't give two shits about the Jets or the Bills. But I feel like the biggest if is if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, because if not, then especially, not that Zach Wilson was your savior, but you got even lower on the totem pole with your backups.
Quarterbacks, yeah.
But I think if Rodgers plays and plays anything close to what he did for most of his career, that amplifies the team already. But that's a big if at his age and coming off that injury. And then I don't think it's loaded with stars, but Garrett Wilson I think is amazing. What's his name? Lazard? Is that from the Packers?
Yeah,
I mean, he's not great. He just has really good chemistry with Rodgers. So if he's playing, I think he'll look better than he really is. Brees Hall, if he can stay healthy, I think is a top back. And then the Jets defense is really good. And I think the Bills lost so many pieces and lost Diggs. I feel like it's probably a combination of the two. Not that they're better than what the Bills were last year, because I don't think that's going to be the case at all. But I wonder how much the Bills are going to
actually be good.
Yeah. Or at least they're going to be good. But
they'll be good,
yeah, but to that scale.
And then I guess the Dolphins, too, though, because they're pretty much the same team, and they just added Odell Beckham Jr., which is annoying. But
I was going to say that could be a cancer to the team. But yeah they have all the skills they put together.
They open with the Niners, though, which is brutal.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that's a loss. I'm not going to go through their whole schedule, but I mean, then they play like the Patriots twice. I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah, unless Drake May is next Tom Brady, which fingers crossed he's not. I don't think that. Those are probably 2 wins there.
Then they play the Broncos.
Oh, that's a loss.
Vikings, so that's an easy game. I don't think the Vikings will be that good. So I guess they have the benefit of playing a last place schedule. They got to play the Bengals, though. So that's a loss. I don't know. I think they'll get 8 wins. That's my cap for them. 8 or 9.
I was gonna say. I guess I'm also just going like on a base turn. I didn't look at like the schedule and go game by game. That's where it could definitely change. But just like an overarching view,
I would say 8 or 9 wins because that's kind of. I just think that's what their team is. Now, like, if they play past that, they could get 10, 11. Just depends how things happen, because a good team could have 15 guys get hurt, and then someone has to jump in and kind of take that spot. But yeah, the schedule, I'm excited for football.
Oh, me too. Can't wait.
The Hall of Fame game is Texans and Bears.
Yeah.
Not going to go see it.
No, I want to do that, but I'm not going to do it unless the Broncos are there, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun.
Hall of Fame game would be cool. Do they use that stadium in Canton for other stuff?
Yeah, a lot smaller scale, though. I know they do a lot of big like high school games there. They'll do some comedy shows, concerts. So it's kind of like the old Crew Stadium. Yeah, where they find events for it now.
The Bengals, I know Trevor talked about this, but I'm going to talk about it. They open with the Patriots. So good for them, because that's going to be a smackdown. Hopefully, unless Burrow plays like the worst quarterback in the league like he does every first like 4 weeks. But they should beat the Patriots. But then they get to play the Chiefs. 425 game, week 2. So I'm excited for that. I wish it was like later in the season.
Oh, really? I was going to say, I feel like the Chiefs kind of start slow normally. That'd be the time to play them.
Oh, well, hey, hopefully we beat the crap out of them.
I hate the Chiefs. They have the talent to obviously beat you at any time, but I think in theory that should be an easier time to play them.
Yeah. Well, Burrow sucks during the first 4 weeks, too, so that's the only downfall about that. And also with Bengals, T. Higgins is not playing or not going to OTAs, which I wasn't shocked at all. I don't think he's going to play in general the entire year.
Really?
Based on what I've read. He could change his mind. I don't know. It's weird how players take franchise tagging, because, I mean, it's not an insult. You're getting paid a ton of money for no reason, basically, just because you won't sign a contract extension. And they're like, I'm not going to play. It always confuses me. Just take the franchise tag and then prove you're worth more money. Like, I feel like that should be the take on that.
Yeah, it seems like all players are just worried about their guarantees. So I think that's where it comes from. Because if he gets hurt that year, then he doesn't get that contract. But they sign him even half of what he would make on his next contract. A lot of it will be guaranteed.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's frustrating because if Higgins plays, they have two of the best wide receivers in the league.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't play, they have Jamar Chase and 5 tight ends. They have more than that, but
yeah.
It's just annoying because I feel like they have a shot for a Super Bowl, so just play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the Bengals have the cap to sign Higgins and Chase, so
Yeah, I don't think so.
that's just a little frustrating there. But the Bengals schedule is not difficult because they were last place, so they're playing a lot of last place teams, and then I think they play the NFC East. Yeah, they do. They play the NFC East. So it's a pretty easy division. They usually suck. And I think the Cowboys aren't going to be that good this year.
That'd be nice.
Or they'll get delusional,
Yeah, so they always seem to have a great regular season and just piss it away, but I'd be okay with them having bad regular season too.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited about the season. I think the AFC North will be really tough, like it always is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so many. Mike Tomlin's Steelers are always somehow the worst, best team in the league and make the playoffs. And then, annoyingly, the Browns have a decent roster.
Yeah, I really wonder if Watson's going to kill it, but I know everybody says all the reports are he's going to be back to normal, but I feel like we've heard that the last 2 years. So
Yeah, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And then Baltimore, obviously, they have Lamar Jackson, so they'll be competitive, sadly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a ton else about the NFL. The Chiefs' odds to win the Super Bowl are plus 525. If anyone wants to take a risk,
Did you take that risk?
I didn't. I did take a risk on the Niners though, because they're also plus like 525. Just put 25 on it, you win 200.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a safe bet.
I gotcha. That's all for football for you?
I think so.
I don't have anything NFL, but I also talked a lot more NFL last week.
Oh,
obviously.
UFL.
Bingo. That's what I got. The Battlehawks on their way to XFL championship, because it's a conference championship game, obviously, against San Antonio Brahmas, which is a terrible name.
Mm-hmm.
It's in St. Louis, though, and St. Louis is, I don't want to jinx it, but undefeated at home. And it's June 9th, 7 o'clock our time. And they actually play the Brahmas to end the year, which is funny. They beat them 13-12. It's a crazy game, back and forth, close. It's going to be extra sad if they lose the first time at home and then against a team they beat the week before. And that'd be real depressing, but fingers crossed that doesn't happen, and they'll win the XFL championship, and then they'll be on their way to the UFL championship.
Go AJ McCarron.
That's right. It's a good thing you're a Battlehawks fan and didn't take Derek's route of trying to change it to be different and be like what's that terrible team name in the UFL?
There's so many. The Showboats.
Yeah, I would say there was the one that stood out, though. Yeah, the Showboats. Yeah, there's some bad ones, but the Showboats lead the charge by far. Not in a good way.
Michigan is the Panthers?
Yeah. Which that's
Do
bad.
Panthers even live in Michigan?
No.
Well, how does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, that one's bad, but that just sounds like a bad high school team. The Showboats, that's all around fucking terrible.
Yeah, they did not think about that.
That'd be a bad name for like the AFL, let alone a league that's trying to be like the next big thing.
Yeah. What city are the Showboats in?
They are in Memphis, I believe.
Memphis Showboats. It's a landlocked state. Your boats?
Yeah, Memphis Showboats.
That makes no sense whatsoever. They couldn't think of anything else?
I feel like the Panthers would be better.
Yeah. Bears? I don't know.
Yeah.
Grizzlies? That's what their basketball team is.
Uh-huh.
Which makes sense because they have Bears in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Showboats. Like, I'm not becoming a Showboats fan.
That's why I ended with, what, like 1 win on the year?
Yeah, they were bad. And, like, the Battlehawks is, like, cool. Like, that's, like,
Yeah.
a unique name. I've watched 2 Battlehawks games this year, so I'm not, like, a diehard fan. But
Yeah.
they got A.J. McCarron. I can't not like.
Yeah.
Like, A.J. McCarron was a Bengal, so.
Oh, the Showboats beat out the Houston Roughnecks, which that's a battle of not only the worst teams, but the worst team names. They beat them out the end of the year to take the 2-8 record and not be 1-9 like the Roughnecks. Yeah, it's literally the 2 worst teams fighting for the worst names together.
That's rough. They should combine the rough boats.
Oh, Jesus. Anything else football?
Go Buckeyes.
Hell yeah.
I know we're in June, but go Buckeyes.
No, for sure. They just put out a hype video on their social media. I was like, oh my God, they got me.
Oh, and
Jack.
NCAA 25.
Yep.
It's a couple weeks away,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Mid-July, so yeah, can't be far.
Are you you play not franchise mode, but Dynasty, I'm assuming. I think it was Dynasty and NCAA.
I always actually did more in Madden because NCAA I always play with friends because it's easier. Pick up and play, but I would do it.
But okay, so I always play Dynasty, and I never pick good teams. I always pick like Central Michigan or Memphis, or UMass. Are you that type of player, or you go Buckeyes all the way?
I go
teams?
Buckeyes all the way. I mean, I could stray and do like, well, this might not be bad enough, but like the Bearcats or some other team I like secondarily.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah. But yeah, mainly Buckeyes, especially because going online, I exclusively play the Buckeyes because I don't want anybody to see another team. And you know now it's going to be Michigan and Alabama and like the top teams every time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done a dynasty with the Buckeyes.
Really?
Which is crazy. I always pick the worst teams in the league that have 1-star recruits at every position, and then.
So you play as Michigan?
Ooh, I wish they were 1-star. They always have 5 for some reason. Especially because I have 20 NCAA 13, I think is the last one that I bought. I still have it. I play it every year for like as soon as college football starts, I get in this mood. I'm like, well, my 360 is coming back out, and I'm gonna play college football. Now I don't have to do that. I can just fire up my Xbox, my new Xbox, and hopefully it's good. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna be a really bad team.
I hear you.
For my first dynasty.
I got you.
Probably like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe Idaho. Are they even an FBS team anymore?
Yeah, but not a good one.
So maybe like Idaho or Hawaii or something like that. Oregon State's always fun, but I feel like they're better than what they were in 2013.
You are OSU.
Yeah, OSU.
There you go.
I think Oklahoma State is OSU as well. There's a bunch of OSUs. But yeah, so that's what I usually do. The My Player, I usually don't play that with NCAA. Never done it really on Madden either.
Yeah, I did a little bit when I was younger, but that was about it because I liked creating things more.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I don't know if I'm going to pay full price for it. Might wait a little bit.
Yeah, I want to get it day one. I don't care about paying full price, just kind of waited so long, and I want it back so bad that I kind of want to support it. Not that there's anything wrong with not doing that. But I also don't trust reviews completely or just go off reviews, but I might wait for reviews just to hear particular things about it, like how different it is in Madden and if it's mechanically a good game, not if they review it well or whatever. But those are kind of things that should be good in theory, but if not, I don't know if I really want to support that.
Yeah, I hope it is different than Madden because it always was.
Yeah.
That's what always made it so appealing. I always played NCAA more than Madden.
I played them.
I played them both, but like I definitely picked up college more than Madden. Madden was fun though. Franchise mode all the way.
Yeah,
I love franchise mode. Not so much anymore. I don't play Madden a ton.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I wasn't in much into Dynasty mainly because I played that with my friends, like I said, college football. But also, there's never real player names, so I feel like there wasn't much attachment in the Madden. I could pick up the Broncos, or I could try and trade for players I like on other teams, and
Like Aaron
feel like,
Rodgers.
yeah, feel like I had connections to things, not just random players that were good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. Always generating the names was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mascot mode, not happening, though.
Nope.
Saw that. That's sad.
Yeah.
And I think you and Trevor talked about it.
Yeah, that's really sad, and it made me worry a little more that they don't understand that this game's more arcadey and goofy. I have seen articles saying how it definitely stands out from Madden, so it gives me some hope, but I just want to see the full game.
They have to at least see the hype on the internet.
Yeah.
Because everyone's so hyped about it.
Oh, yeah.
Are you going to take a knee for your first play? I'm seeing that going around on the internet.
I know what you're talking about, but no, I'd probably do
4 verticals.
that or a crazy option play and see if they fucked with the physics, because I feel like it was always super goofy and not really that realistic.
The only option that I feel like works is read option.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the other ones, I had such tough luck
Oh,
getting
really?
a yard.
That was one of our go-tos, like the what would you call it? Like the not the pitch out, but like where you'd follow them and then you
Like
could
the triple option or...
Yeah, and it was kind of bullshit because the game would let you lateral it while you're going down, so it just like flip out and kind of bullshit. But that's why.
I feel like I always fumble when
Oh,
I do
really?
that. Maybe I just have bad luck with it, so I never run those plays.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones I run are read option, because then you can like read the...
Yeah.
I can't even think of the position right now. End, the defensive end.
Uh-huh.
So I felt like that was always easier to get yards. Maybe I'll try some triple option.
Yeah.
Pitch it as soon as he's tackling me.
Yeah. It was real fun because it was kind of goofy and arcadey, so I hope
Yeah.
that's still in there.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. Did you ever play, this is a side, Blitz?
Oh, yeah, I love Blitz.
Blitz was great.
Love Blitz and Street. I don't know
Yeah.
if you played NFL
Street
Street.
was so fun.
Yeah.
NBA Street, I think, was a thing, too, and that
It
was
was
fun.
fun. Yeah.
NFL Street was great, though.
Mm-hmm.
I have memories of it at the YMCA in the kids' room because I was always dropped off
Yeah.
there. But, yeah, it's good times.
I got you. Anything else football or NCAA in general?
No, I don't think so.
All right. We can go to soccer, which is more sad news. Maybe the saddest news for me yet. The Crew played in the CONCACAF Champions Cup that I've talked about here a few times against Pachuca. And the Crew were a massive underdog, but they played so well that there is definitely belief that they could win it. And they lost 3-0, and it was very depressing. It was in Mexico, so obviously a crazy environment. It sucked too because like a minute into the game, the Crew almost scored, which is unheard of in soccer. And I feel like we killed all the momentum being on the road. But then after that, it didn't even look like the same Crew team. They just looked, not that they weren't even playing well, it was just like total opposite of what they played. The Crew, their main strategy with their coach that took over and won a championship, he's the most skilled at having team keep control of possession, so they lead the MLS like by far. And this game, they could not get control of it. They were getting taken away from like every second. It just didn't even look like the same team. And I was saying that as we were watching, I was like, "What is going on here?" It's not that I don't think we had the skill. They literally just looked like we weren't playing our game.
Yeah.
And then the Columbus Dispatch reported the next day. Not that it's an excuse, but I think it may make sense why the Crew looked so different. They said that they the night before they almost forfeited the game because the entire team, including the coaching staff, got food poisoning in Mexico. And I guess a lot of people are talking about how teams traveling to Mexico have all kind of health issues because the food's so different, and even the water is not regulated like it is here, so you can get like crazy sickness.
Yeah.
So I feel like that. And the coach said himself, he said they scored 3 goals, so obviously they deserved to win. But I wonder how different the game would have been if it was an
They were
even playing
healthy?
ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, I noticed it as we were watching it. I was like, not even that they were just taking bad shots or doing dumb things. I was, what is going? This isn't the same play style we even do.
Yeah, they just look awful.
Yeah,
Playing sick is not easy, especially food poisoning. If you feel like you got to throw up,
yeah,
try
yeah.
running when you feel like you got to throw up.
yeah. It's nasty, but he said that everybody's just diarrheaing like nonstop. Yeah,
Oh
and I
my
can't imagine like trying
gosh.
to run while you're feeling like that.
Yeah,
And
you got to switch out every 5 minutes and just go take a poop.
yeah, so made a little more sense, and I get why they didn't forfeit because I mean it sucks to lose 3-0, but if you forfeit and nobody knew that,
Then they're
or
just like,
what the fuck, we came all this way, and then that happens,
yeah,
and or they think that it's an excuse because you're scared to play them or something. But yeah, it just sucks. 'Cause I wonder how different the game would have been if it was here or even like Texas or whatever. But it's home field advantage, so they earned it. But it sucks because Pachuca had a 1-goal difference last game before they played the Crew. They would have been knocked out, and then the Crew would have hosted whatever Mexican team that would have been.
oh man,
So yeah, thinking about what could have been is what makes it real sad.
yeah,
The only bonus is, like I said, this is a side tournament that is outside the MLS. That's why they're playing Mexican teams. So, not that I prefer this. I'm not going to be like, not act like, oh man, we lost. So, I'm glad because this is what I wanted. But I think this just makes the loss a little easier now that they can focus on the actual season in MLS.
Yeah.
Especially because if they won this, then they went to even grander scale of a tournament of teams like from Europe and like some of the top teams in the world.
holy crap.
Which would have been cool. That's what I'm saying. I'm not like, whew, thank God we didn't do that. I would have
Yeah.
preferred to do that, but I think the consolation of losing is that now you can focus.
Focus on that.
Yeah,
Were they playing both?
Yeah, and that's what was a lot of Crew fans were real upset with how they were playing the MLS, but they were literally benching top players and having to rotate players out and mainly getting draws still, which I think is crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
That you're even competing with like second teams opposed to first teams. And then what gave me more hope too is the Crew is traditionally terrible on the road even when they won a championship, and they won on the road multiple times in this tournament in Mexico, and then in the regular MLS they won their last 3 road games and by like a score of like 12-2 or something.
Hell yeah.
So, and the game was benching players and resting players, so yeah, it's crazy they were doing that. So like I said, it would have been cool to win it, but the consolation is that now they can
Focus
actually,
on the actual season.
yeah. Which next game's June 14th against New York City, also on the road, and then next one after that, fucking Massey, Miami, June 19th, also on the road. So I feel like they haven't been at home the entire season, but hopefully they'll keep playing what they did on the MLS road season.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. We went to the Crew Stadium to watch it, and there were so many people there. There's probably thousands of people there just to watch the watch party, and so much energy. But then just depression after that.
Yeah.
Oh man. You want to talk about? Well, I don't have anything for volleyball because the season's over, so we're gonna skip over that. You want to talk about
Olympic
basketball?
volleyball? I actually don't know anybody, but
I was gonna say I will probably actually pay attention to the U.S. volleyball since I care about it now, and I don't know if they'll make like the final team, but I know there's Fury players that are on the roster right now for Team USA.
oh, awesome.
So,
I always watched volleyball.
oh really?
Beach volleyball though.
Yeah, they'll probably play.
The indoor
Regular.
one, I feel like I didn't watch it as much,
Okay.
but I'll watch it now because I watched it and I was like, "Holy crap, it's actually good."
Yeah.
But usually Olympics I don't watch very much in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like when is it? August?
July.
July?
I thought July, but yeah, I talked last week how I don't watch the sports I really care about. So
I used to
definitely not
watch
the best.
swimming when Michael Phelps was
Mm-hmm.
in his prime. I feel like my
July,
parents did though, and that's why I
Yeah.
watched it. But
July 26th through August 11th this year.
USA basketball is about to destroy the competition.
Yeah, if they don't, it's gonna be embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean they have LeBron,
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. I mean they got Jason Tatum. I don't know who else, but
Yeah, it's stacked.
yeah. I mean other teams have NBA players. Like Canada actually for some reason has a good national team now
Mm-hmm.
because all their starting five is all NBA players, and they have one that's a star. And then Luka, obviously, he'll go and play for Slovenia. And then if Jokic plays for Serbia, then you gotta watch out for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Australia's always had like a weird national team that's good because Kyrie goes and plays for them sometimes, and they have some NBA players. So, but with the players they have, the U.S. should absolutely beat the crap out of everybody.
I feel like you should have to play for the country you're born for, or at least have citizenship for.
That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
Some are actually citizens. Like we know Luka and
Mm-hmm.
Jokic are, and I know the one guy from Canada he was born in Canada. I don't know about Kyrie though. Was he born in Australia?
I don't think so. Can't imagine he was.
That's really odd if he was. But gotta fact check myself. We're gonna talk about Kyrie here in a second too.
Oh, he was. So he makes sense.
That's annoying.
Weird.
And then played in Cleveland. Odd. But yeah, so US should wreck.
Yeah.
The roster is more than just LeBron, Kevin Durant, and
Yeah.
Steph Curry, but if you have those three, like they can all score 30.
Mm-hmm.
That's 90 points. And then you have like Jason Tatum and Anthony Edwards and a couple other young players too. Like it's pretty stacked. I forget who's coaching. Steve Kerr's coaching too.
Oh, yeah.
So used to be Popovich, but he's stuck with the sad Spurs and he doesn't want to coach to the Olympics anymore. But yeah, that's probably all I'll watch during the Olympics is volleyball and basketball.
Yeah. I mean, I had to look, but that's probably all I would care about in that.
And not even, like, watch it, like, regularly. Because
Yeah.
I know the basketball games are at weird times, like 9 a.m. and stuff. So that was what the FIBA Cup was last year. And I didn't watch one U.S. game because they were always at, like, 7 a.m. And I'm like, that's when I go to bed. And then for other people, it's when you wake up. Like, who's watching USA basketball at 7 a.m.? So, I don't know. It just depends what time the games are.
Yeah. I hear you. I don't have anything basketball because it's just depressing for me, but I'm sure you want to talk about your team, right?
Yeah, I will talk about the Celtics. I actually don't have a ton because I don't want to repeat information that everyone already knows. So, but they are in the finals. The finals start Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to promote sports betting, but I am a little bit. The Celtics, their odds to win in 6 games is plus 500 on DraftKings. They boosted it.
Mm-hmm.
I took that bet. I think they're going to win in 6. So that just goes along with my prediction. I think they are going to beat the Mavericks in 6 or 7. It could be 7, but I bet on 6.
Did you bet a lot?
25. It
Yeah,
wins
sure.
like 175 or something like that. Didn't bet a lot. I'm not going to empty my bank account because the Celtics could sweep or the Mavericks could win in 6 or
That's what I was wondering.
yeah, like a lot could happen. I'm seeing a lot of Celtics hate that their path was so easy to the finals, which this is what LeBron got every year because he played in the East. The Celtics path was easy. I'm not going to say it wasn't. But what are they supposed to do about it?
Yeah.
Like, oh, we have to magically make this other team. Like, they can only control, like, who they play. They did, I mean, every team they played, their star player got hurt, which is insane. But the whole East was, like, beat up. Because, like, the Bucks, Giannis, and Damian Lillard were hurt, and they got beat by the Pacers. Like, what are the Pacers supposed to do? Just lose on purpose so that a better team gets in? Like, I don't understand. Like, there's so much like, oh, the Celtics' path was so easy. The Mavericks are going to win just because their path was more difficult. But that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And they're acting like the Celtics, because they're like, oh, the Celtics. I saw something like the Celtics struggled to get to the finals. I'm like, they lost 2 games. So that made no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, some games it was like, oh, they're not playing as good as they should, but they won. So I was so confused by that too, because they're 12-2 in the playoffs, and it's like oh, their path was too easy. But then it's also like, oh, they struggled to get to the finals. So I'm like a little confused there. Kyrie gets to face his former team.
Yep.
I have mixed feelings about Kyrie. I don't like how he just left the Celtics because it was very I give up pretty much. Because he was hurt his first year, and then the Celtics went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the next year it was like, oh, they'll get Kyrie back, so it's a finals team. Then they lost in the second round, and he was like, I don't want to play here anymore. But like he was hurting the team too. He was like holding onto the ball and not passing and stuff like that. Then he goes to Brooklyn, and I think Brooklyn beat the Celtics in like the first round, maybe the year after, and then he stomped on the Celtics logo. So now every Celtics fan hates Kyrie Irving. Like it's just a general consensus, and he's definitely getting booed on Thursday night when they're in Boston, probably the whole game. I don't hate him. I actually like watching him play basketball because he is talented, and I'm glad that he found a place where he can actually play and play well. Because in Brooklyn, he was hard to watch too, because it was always like, It was like he would play good for like 10 games, and then he'd be like, I don't want to play anymore, and then he would just sit. Or there was like a whole vaccine thing too, where he was sitting out. But yeah, I'm glad he is actually playing good. But it's gonna be a good finals, I think. Got Luka and Kyrie versus Tatum and Brown. I think that's exciting.
You gonna watch all of them, assuming?
Every single game. Yeah. The Celtics, Tatum in the playoffs, because a lot of people are talking about Tatum and Brown too, and they're like, oh, they're not that good. Which I saw a lot of Tatum hate the whole playoffs. But it's weird because he was averaging 26 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists, and everyone's like, he's not a number one option, and just stuff like that. But he doesn't always have to be with that team too. Like his stats aren't like Luka's, which Luka's aren't even that much better. I'll talk about Luka in a second. But Tatum is playing like a number one player. Like he had multiple games in the Eastern Conference Finals where he dropped like 37 and had the rebounds and assists, and where like he's soft and stuff like that. So I'm kind of looking forward to see if he turns it up for the finals. I could see him averaging 30 points because I don't think anyone on the Mavericks is going to be able to stop him, because the Mavericks have a good offensive team, but I don't really know how good they are defensively, or if they have anyone to match up specifically with Tatum, because he's 6'10", and he's kind of like Durant. He has the same like body build. I think he's actually stronger than Durant, like build-wise. Durant's kind of skinny and tall, but I'm excited to see that, and I think the Celtics actually have better players to match up with Luka. Especially Tatum's actually a really good defender. Like everyone looks at his offense, but he's a very underrated defender. And I talked about the defensive stats for Boston on here like a couple weeks ago, but they were second in defense in the regular season, and their playoff defense was just as good. I think they have another level they can go to. I don't think they've tapped into it yet, so see if they can do that in the finals, because they will have to stop Luka, because he's probably the best player in the series, but I don't know if he has the other enough help to beat the Celtics that have 6 guys that could score 20.
Yeah. No,
but
that's fair.
And also it's like I was expecting the Mavericks to do good in the playoffs. I was not thinking finals. I was thinking conference finals. And lose to the Nuggets is what I thought would happen, but the Nuggets lost to the Timberwolves.
Yep.
But yeah, so I think it'll be a good series. Luka did lead the playoff stats in every single category, which is
that's
insane, because he was also like hurt. Like there was one game they asked him like how he was feeling, and he's like, everything hurts.
About the diarrhea all over the field.
Like he had a knee problem, back problem, ankle problem, and he was still scoring 30 points. So he's impressive. He's fun to watch. I hope the Celtics beat the crap out of him, though. And everyone else is the opposite. Everyone wants the Celtics to lose, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm right there, but that's because I hate Boston in general.
But yeah, so Luka doing great in the playoffs. I thought he would, but I was really hoping for Mavericks Nuggets Western Conference Finals, because Luka and Jokic are actually good friends outside of basketball, so I thought it would be cool to watch them actually play each other.
That would be.
And they had to play the Timber Puppies instead. Did you watch any of the Western Conference Finals?
No, I kept track of the scores and stuff, but didn't watch.
It was so ridiculous how much the Mavericks just beat the crap out of the Timberwolves. Like, it was like the Timberwolves were like, oh, we beat the Nuggets. They're the defending champions.
Yeah,
like,
and
we just get that trophy for being... Like, no, there's no trophy for that. You got to beat the next team, and they just sucked in the Western Conference Finals. The Mavericks definitely understood the assignment and just... I thought they were going to sweep them. They didn't, but... I mean, it's embarrassing to get swept, though.
Yeah.
I forget who I think I was talking to my brother about it because he was like, "Oh, I wanted them to sweep," and I was like, "Well, it's embarrassing to get swept. Like, if you're getting swept, you lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And you had 2 games at home. You got swept.
Yeah.
You don't want to get swept. At least win 1. But yeah, that series, both Eastern and Western Conference Finals. Not competitive. Yeah. I mean, they like the Celtics and Pacers. The games were competitive, but it was clear the Celtics were going to sweep.
Yeah,
I mean, they were close. I think the Pacers had the lead in 3 out of the 4 games in the fourth quarter, and then blew both of them, or all 3 of them. But yeah, it was. I thought the Pacers would get 1.
Yeah, it seemed like they would,
but was not meant to be. They got swept.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think it's the finals everyone wanted. I think everyone's looking forward to, like, Celtics-Nuggets is what the consensus was. I think at the start of the season everyone was thinking Celtics-Nuggets, but somehow the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets. So here we are, Celtics-Mavericks.
Oh, man. Anything else you want to talk about basketball?
I mean, I could talk more, but...
Feel free if you want to.
I think I'm done.
Okay. The only lacrosse news I have is the PLL started up finally.
The PLL?
Yeah, the Premier Lacrosse League. That's the one that was touring, but now they're city-based, and where we'll hopefully get our Columbus team next season. But until then, I'm not going to be like a diehard fan or anything, but Denver Outlaws were in the Old Machine League, so I'll pay attention to them and watch when I can. And they were... them and the Machine were consistently the 2 best teams in the old league, the MLL. But they lost their first game 16-11, unfortunately. So I don't know if they're going to be the same team. Obviously, it's been years now, so it's not like the same roster, but just the same team identity. That doesn't win you games, obviously. But we'll see where that goes. Haven't been able to watch any games yet, but I'd like to do that, especially because I don't know if Denver has any, but there's quite a few Machine players that are on teams still. So it'll be cool to see them.
Yeah.
But that's all I have. You want to get into this pizza here?
Yeah, we can talk about the pizza.
I don't know who was first last time.
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So, I've had Massey's a few times over the years.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have a buffet. I don't know if they still do.
They still do 11 to 2, Monday through Friday. And it's amazing. It does vary on the location. I think they all do it, but they definitely don't all do it to the same degree. Like, there's some that put out like a couple pizzas. The one in Westerville puts out like 5 different kinds of pizza, pasta, the cinnamon bread, and it's good shit. I haven't been to all of them, but I know that's one of the better ones because there's some I went to that they literally had 2 pizzas out. And I was like, are you guys doing a buffet? Yeah, it's right there. Oh.
2. This is cheese and pepperoni.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you can find the right one, it's a great deal.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's when I'm sleeping, so
yeah,
the odds of me going there are slim.
No, I hear Friday's the only day. I work Monday through Thursday, so Friday's the only day I can potentially do it sometimes.
Yeah. This one, it's not. I'm gonna go overall ranking, but this pizza was not the best Massey's I've had in my life. I feel like the bottom was a little burnt. I don't know if you felt like that. But these end pieces definitely burnt at the bottom. The cheese was kind of flavorless.
Interesting.
Maybe my tongue's not working today, but that's how I felt. So this one I'd give like a 5.
5, wow. All right.
But overall, Massey's is usually like a 9 for me.
That's funny. We're this first time might be like drastically different. Well, similar but drastically different, which will make sense here in a second. I could definitely see where it comes from. The corners got cooked too much, but as a whole, I think that it's like mostly yellow because I put so much cornmeal on it, but like white, brown, whatever you want to call it. So I didn't think it was cooked too much. Besides, I could definitely see the corners, but besides that, it wasn't for me. I will say I didn't order it like this, but I do prefer my pizzas well done. So maybe that's why I don't mind it as much. But I stopped ordering well done a long time ago because if you think this is cooked too much, some places this is like exactly how I like it. But some places you get in, it's just like literally black, and I'm like, but now I can't complain because I asked for it well done. So just like, I guess it's my pizza.
It's like the light sauce thing,
Yeah,
too.
bingo. But that's like exactly how I like it, so that might be why we're so drastically different. I will say the cornmeal, I don't know if that's too much for you. I feel like a lot of people don't like cornmeal. I don't want it on every pizza. Actually, Donato's does it a little bit. And
Yeah,
I don't
they
even
do.
really,
It's like a small amount.
yeah, I don't even really think about it. But Massey's is the one pizza I think benefits greatly from it. And I've gotten it since I was a kid. I feel like the cornmeal I do extra now because it might be in my head, but I feel like this is how it used to be. And then they started cutting down on it.
Yeah.
I think it might have been, because that's like the change you can make the majority of people aren't going to notice. And it might seem minuscule as far as cost cutting, but if you think about how many times they have to do that, they're probably saving a lot of money by putting a little less on there every pizza. So I think that's definitely what they're doing because I think that's the easiest way to cut it without pizza changing too much to most people. So I'd say if you get it, unless you hate cornmeal, I would go the extra cornmeal route. Massey's, like I said, my normal rating is judging from like the typical good pizza I get from Massey's. I would say it's not quite the Cadillac of pizza, which I feel like is a crazy saying, especially now. But I'd say for me, a typical good average Massey's is a 9. I'd say this one is a 9.5. Even.
Whoa.
Yeah. So they said this is like exactly how I like it. And sometimes if you don't order light sauce, especially here, they cake it on there. I felt like it was not light, but not a extreme amount.
Sauce was,
Yeah. The cheese exactly how I like it. Like I said, I could definitely see the corner pieces being a bit much, but that's how I like it.
That might be why I got my impression. Just that first bite was just pure burnt crust. That was not enjoyable for me.
Well, this whole half's yours. I know it's a little cool, but you could take a bite on that end piece, see what you think. You don't have to eat it anymore if you don't want it, but
I'll try it.
I eat way more than you, so.
I'll look a little burnt. I might go to a 6.
Okay.
But, it's also cold, but
Yeah.
I do like the crunch.
Mm-hmm.
The crunch is good. I don't know. Maybe I always get pepperoni from Massey's, so
Okay.
maybe that's why. Like my brain's like, this isn't normal.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because I feel like this has a decent amount of flavor, but I'm sure that changes, adds a lot more. So that
'Cause
could be it.
I used to always just get cheese pizza. That's all I would get. And then when I was a teenager, I was like, no, I want meat on pizza. So you get like pepperoni and like chicken and like so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
Massey's, I always get their pepperoni because they like the whole
Load
thing
it,
is
yeah.
covered with pepperonis.
Mm-hmm.
And the pepperonis are really good too. So that might be why it's not the 9 that I'm used to. I do like the crunch though, and the cornmeal does not bother me at all. I actually like it. It might be that.
I got you.
Might be the absence of pepperoni. Like it's not like I'm not like it's not bad. Like I'm not gonna throw it in the trash can and not eat it. Like I'd eat it. Well, I'm going 6. I'll go 6.
Okay.
But 9 usually.
Yeah, I got you. All right. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Well, I went to St. Louis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I should have talked about this during baseball.
Oh, you're
but
good.
I went to their
time.
stadium, and they happened to be playing the Orioles that week. So I was like, cool. I'll just go watch them play the Orioles. It got rain delayed, which sucked. But then the Orioles were winning when the delay happened. And then after the delay, the Orioles switched pitchers, and then they lost. The Cardinals started hitting and stuff, but that stadium it's really nice.
Yeah.
The arch in the background. It's cool to watch a baseball game there.
How long was the delay?
Like an hour. And then the game after only lasted like an hour. Like there were like 5 innings left, but they flew by. But overall, I thought it's a fun place to watch baseball.
Yeah, I've been around the stadium, but never in it. And I told you I probably wouldn't go unless the Reds play, but they do play them often since being division rivals. So.
Yeah, I would definitely go back to that stadium. It was cool. All the fans were really nice too. Like I was sitting in like the Cardinals club section because someone with season tickets sold theirs for like $20, which was crazy. But no one was like aggressive or anything. And this lady was a Cardinals fan sitting next to me, and she was pretty chill. Just like, oh, that was a good play, like for either team. So that was cool because you never know if you go into a hostile environment, they might be rude. I even had a Cardinals fan walk up to me and ask me about a random player. I was like, huh, this is weird how nice they are. Because Cleveland, I didn't feel safe there. I wasn't even wearing a Reds jersey. You were, but I did not feel safe in Cleveland. But I definitely felt fine watching a game with all Cardinals fans, basically.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool.
No, definitely.
Because you never know how that'll go. But yeah, go to St. Louis. It's nice.
Yeah.
They do have a high crime rate, but I didn't see any crime while I was there. So
yeah, I've taken Ubers when I was there, and people were like, "You're walking out here?" And I was like, "Yeah." No. Oh, don't do that again. And I feel like it might be a bit exaggerated though, especially because the person that said that was like, "Last week somebody caught a stray bullet from right where you were." And I was like, that could be a stray bullet. It means they weren't. I mean, it sucks, but it means they weren't shooting at them, so it could happen anywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've been there a couple times, and like I act like I know the whole area. I'd be like, it's fake news, but I think it's probably, I imagine, like a lot of cities, it's the bad parts that amplify it, and I feel like anything can happen anywhere, but I feel like if you stay out of the obvious parts, then your rates drop a whole lot.
yeah,
And I'm not going to intentionally go to the parts that have the highest crime rate or look like they're completely run down or falling apart.
right. Yeah, and I think we stayed like really close to like the stadium area, and I feel like that area was nice.
Yeah.
Especially like by the arch and stuff. So I didn't feel unsafe the entire time.
Yeah.
So it's a fun place.
Yeah.
If you haven't been there, I'd recommend it. The arch was cool too. I got to go in it. It was windy, so you could like feel it shaking when you're on top, but it was a cool experience.
Yeah. It's definitely cool. It's funny though. I think the most underwhelming part is actually being up there. I think seeing it from the outside is amazing. The elevator ride feels futuristic, but then once you're up there, it's like a corridor and with like small windows, and then it's kind of over.
Yeah, I think seeing it like from below it and was way more entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you than being in it. But yeah, we just built it to build it, which is interesting. But it's a cool like just staple point of the city.
Yeah.
Just to see it. Like basically if you're in that area, you see the arch pretty much everywhere. But yeah, cool place. The zoo was cool too.
Haven't been there yet.
Free zoo.
Yeah. Never seen
and
that.
they have hippos, which is always a plus. Columbus doesn't have hippos. And we paid $20 for no hippos, which is disappointing. But yeah, it's a free zoo and it's nice. You could probably walk it in 4 hours, even if you're like taking your time through every animal. But for being free, I was like, that's pretty good. But yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Not sports related, but
No, feel free.
Eminem dropped a song.
What do you think?
I love it.
Yeah. I just knew he did, but I haven't listened to it.
It's very old school Eminem,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is fantastic. Slim Shady is back. If you watch the music video too, it's like the Without Me music video. He's definitely like calling back to that and stuff. So definitely check it out if you're an Eminem fan.
Okay.
He's getting a lot of hate for it too.
Oh, really?
He definitely basically said F everybody, but that's Eminem. That's what he does. but he said a line about Megan Thee Stallion that was really funny. But people did not take it funny, so he's getting a lot of hate and a lot of praise, like at the same time. But I think that's just kind of his career.
Yeah,
It's either you hate him or love him. I feel like there's not like an in between. Like you're not gonna be like Eminem. I feel like it's you like him or you hate him.
Yeah,
But it was definitely on brand for Eminem. But I love him, so I probably listened to the song 20 times already in the last 2 days.
I feel you.
But yeah, check it out. It's called Houdini.
Okay.
Good song.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I got.
You sure?
I think so.
Okay.
Go Bengals, go Buckeyes, go all Ohio teams except Cleveland.
Kakar is the law.
Yep.